Okay, so from the picture, the preform my friend had was about 2 fingers wide, and I think I'm going to use this piece here. Now, trimming around the edges, there's different ways to do it. One way is that I like sometimes when I'm pressed for time or whatever, I don't want to spend time, I'll just use a little anvil, hammerstone, with a second hammerstone and just kind of trim around the edges. It's unpredictable. It's easy to snap the whole thing when you're doing it this way, but it's pretty fast. And I'm just pecking at the edges. And that's what I mean by unpredictable. Still got a good amount of length to it. Got lucky, I guess. Well, actually, I know I got lucky that I didn't snap it too short. Especially with quartzite, it's really easy to snap quartzite. Okay, so I don't want to take a chance on trimming it, but see that was very fast to trim around it, and of course it snapped, so it took a lot of material off the bottom. But in general, you do the anvil type trimming if you want to do something really fast. I'm holding it like this here. I'm going to try to zigzag to get rid of that really thick edge. Now, it'd be really hard to get in there, so let's see. I'm going to try to get into here. And I'll move around the hammerstone a lot to see if I can get in there. I got plenty of width, so I can afford to lose some width here. And the reason why I said that is because it was really thick and I needed to back up a little bit and start again to get a weaker area to remove flakes from. I think I talked about that in the previous video, or one of the previous videos, not today's. If I lose too much width on this, I probably won't be able to come up with a good duplicate of the preform in the picture. It looks like the preform in the picture had some pressure flaking on it, so I want to leave some room for pressure flaking. Because I could get the preform just by hammerstone. But it won't look the same. At least I don't think it would look the same. It might. Oh. Darn it. had some good thickness there too. Just that end snap that I get a lot of end snap with natural material and hammerstone. Not as much with hammerstone, more with antler, but still I hardly ever get this with copper. I guess it's because I'm used to using copper, or it just grabs the edge in a different way. It doesn't shock the piece. There's a lot of shock in using natural materials, and that's why, well, one of the reasons why it's difficult to get pieces thinned down. Let's try this other one here. You know, one of the ways to get something thinned down is to make sure you don't put a lot of shock on the piece. If you can, you know, use a technique that reduces the amount of shock or bending stress or whatever on the piece, you can get it, or your chances are much greater to get it thin. And with natural material, to try to come up with techniques that don't shock the piece, that don't shock the workpiece, is quite a challenge. Like right now I'm shocking the workpiece quite a bit to try to get rid of that. I can feel a lot of force. I don't have much choice. Again, that's too short, I think. I don't know. Might be able to squeeze that little preform out of this piece. Okay, at this stage, I'm going to pressure flake it. It's pretty close. I'm going to pressure flake it to try to get rid of those really thick areas. You can tell here, I think this is a series of pressure flakes, starting here, 1, 2, well, let's see, probably starting this way first, and then 2, 3. And these look almost like percussion flakes there, and same over on this side, percussion mostly around it. Now I don't know what the other side looks like. I think we're getting pretty close. I'm just going to pressure, see if I can get rid of that lump on this side with pressure. Maybe straighten out the edges. Although that preform in the picture didn't look very well developed. Looked pretty crude. don't know if you can see, there's a lot of flakes coming off of that. Instead of just one or two flakes, it's kind of shattering when I'm applying pressure. I don't know if you can see. It's pretty typical with quartzite. I'm going to bevel this a little bit, or I'm going to bevel this edge, and that way I can run a series of pressure flakes. See if I can duplicate a little bit of what's on the other one. The hard part is holding it so it doesn't move. I really need to drive a big flake in there, so I'm probably going to use a billet. Turn the edge a little more and then use a billet. See if I can drive at least one big flake in through that turtleback. Okay. That was pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. Stopped right about there. The light is changing. There's a lot more light coming in to the shop, so I hope you guys are not getting too much glare on that white quartzite. But I'm trying to bevel the edge a little better for that billet. I need to make a pretty good strike in there. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now I don't know if I could do a series of 3 billet strikes right next to each other. I might be able to, but it's much easier to do that with pressure, of course. And you can see how small that is, and I'm hitting it with a billet. You really do need a pointed billet when you're doing this kind of work. Okay, so I'm gonna hit a few more times around the edges and see where I can remove some flakes, and then pressure to finish off. I'm gonna try to remove one right next to it here somewhere. It's very hard to be accurate at this scale. That wasn't too bad either. I blew away more of the edge than I wanted to, though. you know what happens when it looks like you have a perfect platform. You can never seem to hit it right. So I'm going to take that off with pressure. I'm going to go over to this side and see what I can do. Now that one, I don't know. It looks like it was trying to release a little bit down here too, but it didn't go. Now if I had I might be able to get rid of that with indirect percussion. I was going to say, if I had a copper tool, I could easily remove this step fracture by hitting here and setting a flake up, but I might be able to do it with an antler, piece of antler, percussion flaker, or horizontal punch, whatever you want to call it. Almost got it. Said I was going to do that with pressure, but now that I'm at it, now that I've got the horizontal punch, I'm going to try that. Oh, it doesn't seem to want to go, so I am going to do that with pressure. Okay, so I'll just finish up here and then call it good. Sometimes with pressure you can feel what's going on with the platform or the materials to see what's going on, why it didn't let go. It might have been there's just a lot of crushing going on there. So I took a flake the other way to clean it up. It's really hard to hold it still. Now let's see. Okay, my preform is a little off because I took a lot off of this side, but I'm going to compare it. There's the picture. There are some step fractures in the picture. There's one there. There's stepping going on this side. A little bit of step right here. Did two pressure flakes close together. Let's see, right here on the edge. Okay, so pretty close in size. Of course, the thickness I don't know, but there you go. Just wanted to give a little demonstration. I'll probably do one more video with this material, just so I can nap some of the other stuff. There's some actual chert in the in this box. Let's see, more chert like, less grainy. Okay, so there's some good pieces in here. Let's see. Let's see what he sent. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot glossier. Yeah. Although this one looks like it's a little bit rough. We'll see how that flakes. So I'll do one more video on some of this chert-like material. But for now, it's good enough. I've already done another video on making a point of this quartzite. Although I haven't done much abo. I will do some more abo videos with quartzite, and maybe I'll knock off a bigger flake so I can work with it with this material here. But let's see. Yeah, I've got this piece. I've got this piece. We'll see. One or two more videos. Okay, that's it.